Now, speaking of Fanta, I'm really excited to tell you this story. You may not know this, but many years ago, not many years ago, it was about 12 years ago, I did an advert for Fanta. So I've got Fanta on my hands. There's blood on my hands because of the Fanta's affiliation with the Nazi Party and the fact that I worked for them. But I filmed an advert for Fanta with Willem Dafoe. The Willem Dafoe. Now, it was filmed in Mexico and we were tandem paragliding.
Paragliding with Willem Dafoe.
So I was attached to Willem Dafoe. We're tandem paragliding for Fanta. We filmed it in just outside of Oaxaca in the deserts of Mexico. And it was a big budget shoot because, it's Coca-Cola money, CCA Amatel. And basically, the tandem paraglider had a big Fanta logo on it. I'm attached to Willem Dafoe. We zoom up in front of the camera lens and I say, "Want a Fanta?" And then Willem Dafoe goes and just winks at the camera. And that was the whole ad. And anyway, so we were about to do the first take. I was really scared because I had never worked with such celebrity as Willem Dafoe, and it was a big money ad, and a lot of pressure. I stupidly, in my parachute pants, up in the paraglider, I accidentally took up my mobile phone, which was really it's an amateur move in the film industry to take your phone or have your phone on, because if it goes off, especially in Australia, if your phone goes off during a shoot, you have to buy the crew a slab. Anyway, they didn't know that in America. A slab of beer, if you're wondering what that is, if you're outside of Australia listening in, a slab of beer, which is a box of beer, a carton of beer. So your phone goes off and someone goes, "Slab!" So my phone went off, but because we were filming in Mexico with a mostly American crew, they had no idea, but they thought I was an amateur, and I was really, I was so embarrassed because like I said, I was attached to Willem Dafoe. His head was right behind me.
Paragliding with Willem Dafoe.
My phone's going off, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Willem." And he's like, "That's okay." And I went to turn it off, and it started ringing again. And I was like, I'm sorry." And Willem said to me, he just, because his head was right behind me, he just whispered into my ear. He's like, "Look, just answer it." And I was like, No, I can't do that. It's not professional. He goes, "Look, you'll be thinking about it during the take. You'll, and you'll carry that into your acting. So just answer it, get it out of your head, clear your head, and then we can do some acting." For Fanta. And so I answered it. And this was a terrible time to have answered the phone because it was my father with some awful, really shocking news from home. This is hard for me to say this stuff. My father had rung to tell me that his leg come off. And this was, awful news to receive, especially when you're tandem paragliding for Fanta in the Oaxacan desert. Attached to Willem Dafoe. The news, it rattled me to the core, and I was like, "What?" And I said to my father, I said, "What do you mean your leg come off?" And he goes, "Oh, my leg full come off, and now it's a bad, sad feeling." I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Well, it's a bad, sad feeling because my leg come off." And I was like, "Well, it would be a bad, sad feeling because your leg come off." And I said, "It's full come off." And he goes, "Is my leg full come off?" And I was like, "Wow." And I just started weeping. I was sobbing. I hung up the phone, and Willem, he was just there because he was I was tandem paragliding with him just right behind me as we were just sailing silently. I was just sobbing and weeping in the sky above the Oaxacan desert. And Willem said to me, are you okay? And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I just received some awful news from home." And he's like, "Do you care to share?" And I said, I care to share. I'd spare the care to share. And he said, "Well, what happened?" I said, "Well, my father just rang me then and told me his leg come off." And Willem was like, "What, his leg come off?" And I said, "Yeah, his leg full come off." And then Willem was like, "Well, how's he feeling?" I said, "Well, it's a bad, sad feeling, obviously." And Willem's like, "Well, it would be a bad, sad feeling when leg come off." And there we were, just silently gliding above the desert, the Fanta logo behind us rippling, and I was weeping, and Willem was trying to console me. And he said, "Look, you could probably use this energy in the next take." And then he said, "Hang on a minute, you're a comedian, aren't you?" And I said, "Well, sometimes I am." And he said, "You know what? You could use this as your cause or your thing. You could get behind this." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Maybe you should start a foundation." I was like, "Oh my God." And that's what I did. I realized at that point that I wanted to start off International When Leg Come Off Day as a bad, sad feeling day. And I registered the website. It didn't go anywhere, but I did register the website, and I eventually got ribbons made up. to raise awareness of when leg come off. It's a bad, sad feeling. International Bad Leg Day, leg come off, and Willem was like, "This is a great idea," and I was like, "Oh my god, yes, this is like my Hannah Gadsby moment. Like it's a big moment. I'm getting it out there." And I got ribbons made. They weren't a very good colour. All the fun colours are bloody always taken already. All the fun ribbons for most charities are gone. I did go to the LGBTQI community because I was like, because they originally had the pink ribbon, but then they got the rainbow as well, and then they got all the extra colours on the rainbow too, and I was just like, so I went to them, and they're a really powerful lobby, and I said to them, look, do you mind just shaving off one of the colours and just giving me a colour for my leg come off day as a bad, sad feeling ribbon? And they're like, no, we've got no colours to spare. And I said, yeah, but you can't have pink and the whole rainbow. That's not fair. Security ushered me out of the building. So I've been left with a pretty shit ribbon. It was designed by my small Greek friend Stratos, whose leg come off. He has the people who were involved in the charity all had leg come off. And Stratos was a small Greek boy with one leg, and he designed the ribbon, and not a very lovely coloured ribbon. It was kind of like a mustard puce with like a mint coloured trim on the side, and we sold them for $2 a ribbon, and I think I sold about 54 ribbons, I believe, and eventually the website was cancelled and closed down by Google for being offensive toward people who leg come off. But look, I still do like to champion and carry on that spirit. So just remember, people, that together we can change the world when leg come off day to international a bad sad feeling and make it into bad sad.
Paragliding with Willem Dafoe.